Oh, it's working. All right, guys. Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our 6 to 7, 1 o'clock webinar. We'll be beginning in a few moments when we get a few people in and start joining. But in the meantime, as you're all coming in, why not introduce yourself? Tell me what your name is, what school you are a student of, and where you're from. So yeah, we'll be getting started in a moment or two. I guess I'll introduce myself. For anybody who'll be watching this afterwards, don't worry, I'm not going to waste too much time. My name is Cathal, and I am a teacher in the MyS Milano Meravigli School, and I'm from Ireland. This is why I have such a strange name. So you can see there on the screen, hopefully, my name is spelled Cathal, but the pronunciation is actually Cathal. It's a very kind of strange one. It's very similar to Charles in English. So I guess Carlo in Italian, Carlos in Spanish, whatever the equivalent is. I think Charles is a French name as well, right? So that's me, and I have been in Milan for just over a year now. I moved to Milan in January of last year, so kind of liking Milan at this stage. So when you guys arrive, please introduce yourselves. Tell me your name. Maybe I recognize you from previous webinars, and let me know what school you're a student of. That'd be great. So yeah, we're doing a focus activity today on describing a holiday. Now, I know this is a topic or maybe something that we're not going to be doing a lot of in the near future. We're not going to be going on holidays soon, but I think it's still a good idea to remember and to think about past holidays. So to look at previous experiences and to talk about them, to describe them, and also to be able to talk about future holidays as well. It's a good way to practice about talking about your future activities. So let's just have a quick look at what we're going to do in this focus activity today, guys. What we're doing is we're describing your holidays. So this can be the different types of holidays that we have in English. And then we're also going to use the past simple and present perfect to talk about your previous holidays, and also some present continuous and going to for future plans. So an awful lot of level 6 and 7 in my English school is based around these grammar points, some past simple, present perfect, and futures. So this focus, I think, is a good way to practice a lot of grammar points in one short focus activity, because it gives you a nice mixture and it shows you how do these grammar points work together when we use them in English. So yeah, again, I'll just say I can see there's somebody there watching. So if you're there, please say hello. Please let me know what your name is and where you're from. So I'll get started because it does help. It helps when you guys interact. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, which I can do, but it's nicer when there's other people there. So we have my favorite holiday. This is the topic of this first webinar here. So I want to know what your favorite type of holiday. What is your favorite type of holiday and why? And something to make note of there is that the two terms, as you can see, there's an American flag and a British flag there. Not an English flag, a British flag. So in England, the UK, I should say, we use the term holiday, whereas in America, we use the term vacation. they mean exactly the same thing. And I think vacation is maybe closer to some of the more Latin translations than holiday is. Because holiday can mean like a period of time when you go abroad or you go away from your normal home, or holiday can mean a particular time of year. For example, we just celebrated Easter holidays. So this is not when we went abroad, it's a time free off of work. So holidays generally, in a general sense, mean when you're not working. So it can mean you go abroad and you stay somewhere else for a while, or it can mean just some sort of celebration, like a religious celebration, like Easter or Christmas, um, or what other holidays do we have? Uh, Halloween, I guess, considered a holiday, or the small period, I guess you would say. Yeah, those kinds of things when you're not in work. Okay, so what is your favorite type of holiday? So when we say type of holiday, what does that mean? There are different types of holidays in English, so different ways that we can express this. So I'll give you guys an opportunity to type in to see if you have any ideas on what types of holidays that we have in English. In the meantime, I'll just give you mine as an example. So my favorite type of holiday is I guess, like a nature holiday, kind of a nature adventure holiday. Um, Although I do like city breaks as well, but I think I prefer nature adventure holidays. And so the reason why I like more nature and adventure holidays is I like to be outside, and so at the moment it's not very good for me. I like to be outside, and I like to be doing activities, and to be kind of exploring mountains or fields or some sort of trail or trek. But then again, I also like city breaks as well, where I'm able to go to a city and look around, see some very cool monuments and landmarks, find some nice kind of historical information about a city. It's always a very, very cool experience to go on holidays. So I'll just click to reveal the different types of holidays that we have. So, here we go. So these are the different types of holidays that we have in English, guys. So we've got sightseeing, a beach holiday, a mountain holiday, a cruise holiday, adventure holiday, spa break, a long weekend, and backpacking holiday. So once again, just for pronunciation is very important here. So we say sightseeing, beach, mountain, cruise. Cruise is a very important one. That U-I sound, guys. Cruise makes like an ooh sound, like fruit, juice, suit. These kind of words, they all make that ooh sound. So it's not cruise, but cruise. Like the actor Tom Cruise. If you find it difficult to remember, Tom Cruise is the pronunciation that we should say. Adventure, spa break, long weekend, and backpacking. So what are these different types of holidays? How could we describe them? So sightseeing, and this is one that I often see is difficult to explain for some people. So a sightseeing holiday, or just sightseeing as an activity, is something that you do when you go to a famous city, usually. Like if you go to Rome or Paris or New York, Beijing maybe, Sydney, all these different really, really popular tourist destinations. Sightseeing is a very, very common activity that you do. So sightseeing is going around the city usually in a bus, and looking at all the famous monuments, famous places, and famous monuments. So sightseeing. And so a sightseeing holiday is a holiday specifically for this activity. So you spend a majority of your time doing this activity while on holiday, if you're doing a sightseeing holiday. Okay. So a beach holiday, I'm sure you guys all know what that is. Of course, very used to that, I suppose, in Italy or in Spain or in France. All of you guys, I'm sure, have been to the beach for a holiday. Very relaxing. Hopefully we get to do it soon. A mountain holiday, again, you guys will know that one. Just going to the mountains and relaxing, maybe doing some skiing, maybe some hiking, as we say, hiking. And then you guys would say trekking. Some people would say trekking, but hiking is like walking in mountains, up a mountain. Yeah. So then we have a cruise holiday, very luxurious, maybe a cruise holiday, where you go on not a boat, but a ship. You go on a cruise ship, and it takes you around some sort of islands, maybe. It takes you in between countries, and it's very, very relaxing as well. And a lot of these are very relaxing. However, the next one, adventure holidays, this is the opposite of relaxing. So we'd have an adventure holiday where you're doing lots of different activities, and you every day there is lots of action and exciting things to do. And so it's very like the opposite of relaxing, really. Something that you do with friends. Maybe you go on an adventure holiday with friends. A spa break. Right? We all know what a spa is. Now a break. And remember we used the term break, and I used this earlier, guys. I said a city break. So break, in the sense of a noun, a break is like a short holiday. Okay? So city or spa break. Okay. Break being the important word there. A short holiday. So spa break, because you don't go to a spa for very long. You just go to a spa for a few days and then you go home, or you go to a city for a few days and then you go home. Whereas holidays sometimes can be a bit longer. Like for example, your cruise could be 2 or 3 weeks, or sightseeing could be 2, 3 weeks. I know some people like to go on adventure holidays for a month or something, which is crazy. Even mountain holidays could be longer. But surely a long weekend is very similar to a break, guys. So a long weekend, either from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's just an extended weekend, so 1 or 2 days longer than normal weekend. And of course, finally, backpacking. So backpacking, as we know, is an activity where you put everything into your bag. It's on your back, and you walk around, or you travel around different cities, different locations, to, I guess, explore. So yeah, tell me, guys, what do you have? What is your favorite type of holiday, and why? Is it one of these types of holidays, or is it a different type of holiday? Maybe you guys have some different ideas. So let me know. Is it sightseeing, or a beach holiday, mountain, cruise, adventure, spa break, long weekend, or backpacking? What do you think? What would you say is your favorite type of holiday? It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision, I know. There are a lot of choices. So let me just get the next one ready while you guys are typing in your answers there. Okay. So this is the next activity. So while I'm waiting for you guys just to enter your answers, I just thought I'd bring up this slide here. So this is a very, very interesting topic now to talk about, it's because we're using the present perfect here. So obviously, we cannot do this true or false, find out about your classmates, because at the moment there is, what, one person here. So unless you want to do this with me, then that's totally fine. If you want to ask me some questions, then fire away, let me know. But yeah, so present perfect example here. The question is being asked, have you ever been to France? So what does this question mean? Have you ever been to France? This question is asking, in all of your life, did you go to France? Okay, so like up to now. Okay, so have you ever been to France? As we know, the present perfect is used to talk about experiences. Okay, so present perfect is used to talk about. Okay. So when we say an experience, something that you have done in all your life, it's not at a specific moment in the past. We're not being specific. We're just saying from when I was born to now, in between that, from when I was born to now, I have done something. So this question here, have you ever been to France? I can answer no, I have never been to France. Unfortunately. I would like to visit France, but I have never been. So, have you ever? This is the structure that that the question takes. So we can say have or has with the subject ever with past participle. Okay, so this is the structure that the question takes. Have you ever visited? Have you ever eaten? Has he? So the reason why we say has is because has, of course, is in the third person. So for he, she, and it, we'd use has. But for you, I, we, they, we use have. But we don't really use I in questions. We just say it in the answer. So have you ever been to France? Have you ever visited the Eiffel Tower? Have you ever seen the Statue of Liberty? Have you ever eaten an Italian pizza? Has he? So the different ways that we answer. So we're saying in our whole life is how we describe this present perfect. So remember, present perfect is for something that happened in the past, but we are not being specific. It's not specific. It's just in my life. Because past simple, the past simple then we use to be more specific. Okay. So as we know, I have been to France. I have visited the Eiffel Tower. I have seen the Statue of Liberty. Which is true. I have seen the Statue of Liberty. So yes, this is very, very important, guys, when talking about the differences between past simple and present perfect. Okay. So let me just see if we can. Oh, sorry. Let me go back here. So before we move on to the next one, I just want to kind of go over just the differences between past simple and present perfect. So the past simple, what is it used for? It's used for a finished action in the past, okay? Usually a specific time. Okay? And present perfect is used also for a finished action, past. It's not specific. Okay, so that's the first way that we use it. Okay, the second way that we use the present perfect is for something that started in the past and continues now. That's when we use for and since. So we can use it either to talk about your experience, i.e. the finished action in the past, which is not specific, or we can talk about something that started in the past and continues now. So for example, I said at the beginning of this webinar, I have lived in Milan for 1 year. I've lived here since January of last year. So that's me using the second one of the second way of using the present perfect. Okay. But if I was to use present perfect in the first sense, I would say I have been to New York. That is a perfectly fine sentence in English. And I have been to New York is just to say that in my life I visited New York. Now I can say I have visited New York once. I have visited. I have been to Sydney once. I have been to Alicante in Spain many times. I don't know how many times, many times, because my family has an apartment out there. So these different phrases, I have been, is just saying in my life, this has happened. We're not being specific. It's not specific of when. We're just saying that it's happened. If you want to be specific, you use the past simple. So I went to New York 2 years ago. I visited Sydney in 2005. Okay. I ate breakfast yesterday morning. I ate breakfast this morning. Okay. So these are all finished actions in the past. I'm giving a finished time as well. Whereas in the present perfect, we do not give a finished time. So I can still see there is someone watching. So if you want to try, give me a sentence, tell me about your holiday experience. So maybe you can answer this question. When was your last holiday? So when was your last holiday? Okay. So we know that if we're using the question, when was your last holiday? We talk about the time, when, yeah? Where did you go? Location. What was it like? Describe it. What was it like? How did you get there? What did you do there? What did you enjoy most about it? And which has been your favorite holiday? Oh, so um, the last question there is the present perfect, as we can see. So, right, guys, I'm just going to look on my phone here for an account because when I went to New York 2 years ago, I made a note of everything that I did in the city at the time. So, and this was my last holiday, I think. Um, because I went to Palermo before Christmas, but that wasn't really a holiday. It was for work. And I went to Verona last year, but that was more of kind of just a weekend trip with my friends. I consider this New York holiday as my like last proper holiday. Okay, so when was your last holiday? My last holiday was, or I went on holidays to New York 2 years ago. So that's me answering both the first and the second question. Where did you go? New York City in America. What was it like? It was amazing. Like you would imagine New York City. I don't know if any of you have been to New York, but it is absolutely a fantastic city to visit. Um, we would say, uh, how did you get there? How were you asking about the manner of which you did this? So how did you get there? I got there by plane. So by, we use the preposition by in this case to talk about the way that you got there. So I got there by plane, or I traveled there by plane. You could also say. What did you do there? Well, I was there for a long time. I was there for, well, it felt like a long time for me because it was a long holiday. What did I do there? Oh my God, where do I start? I went to the Statue of Liberty. Um, I took a boat. Yeah, I took a boat ride to around the Statue of Liberty. Um, I uh, used the subway, the metro, the underground. I visited the Natural History Museum. So if any of you guys know the Hollywood movie Night at the Museum, I was in that museum. It was very cool, very big. We spent like 4 hours walking around this museum. It was so big. Um, just like everything in there was amazing. So many like new things to look at and so many old things to look at as well from in terms of historical things, but it was really cool. What else? I went to a I went to a few shows. I went to a few Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows. So I'm a big musical fan. So I really like watching musical theater. And so I went to see or went to watch or went to see. You can use both. I went to see a play and a musical, nearly every night. um, what else? I visited Times Square, of course, very important. Um, I went to Brooklyn to um, to visit my friend who was living there. He let me stay in his apartment. We sat on top of his apartment building and looked out onto the city. It was so cool. Really beautiful view of the city at nighttime. Um, what else did we do? Oh, I saw SpiderMan. That was really cool. I went to so I was very lucky because I stayed with my family. One of my family members, my father, his cousin lives in Queens in New York, and so I stayed in their house in Queens. Uh, thanks very much to Pat O'Neill out there. And so I stayed with him with them for the time that I was there, and so I took the train into the city every day to kind of to enjoy the city and to enjoy the surroundings. Um, I then when I arrived at the station in the city itself, I walked out to the exit and I saw a lot of cameras and a lot of directors walking around, and a man told me to move along, to keep walking, and to continue walking. And I was like, oh gosh, what's going on here? And so I walked around and I saw a lot of people taking pictures, and so I walked up and I looked down and I saw uh, Tom Holland in the Spider-Man costume, and I lost my mind. I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" I took videos, I took pictures, um, and then I ran to find my friend. I said, "Come on, Kate, let's go, let's go. You can see Tom Holland over here. It's Spider-Man." um, and so we watched some of the film of this. It was really, really cool, and it's actually in the film as well. Really, really interesting. So yeah, that was one of the. I think that was probably something that I enjoyed the most about it. Just like the crazy by chance situation that happened for me. What else did we do there? I went to a basketball game. I saw the New York Knicks play against the Brooklyn Nets, which was a really good game. The Knicks lost, unfortunately, but it was a very enjoyable game, and really enjoyable atmosphere in Madison Square Garden as well. Really, really cool place to visit. I don't know if you have ever visited there. I would recommend to go there for a concert, for a game, for anything. Really, really cool. And I guess that's probably been my favorite holiday ever, the New York holiday, because I went there for it felt like a long time, a lot of activities I did. And then maybe my other favorite holiday was probably when I went to New Zealand with my family when I was very young. Now I was 10 or 11 years old, I think, when we went to New Zealand, and that was something incredible. I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember just loving everything about New Zealand and liking everything that we did. It was so cool, so cool. So yeah, I guess those would probably be my favorite holidays and those kinds of things. So let me know, guys. I want you guys. So even if you're watching now or if you're watching later after this has been posted, I want you guys to just write down, answer the questions in this list here. So where did you go? What was it like? How did you get there? What did you do there? What did you most enjoy about it? And which has been your favorite holiday? So that way you just get to practice talking about your past holidays. Okay? So this is where we're using the past simple and the present perfect together. Okay? So for all of these questions, apart from the last question, we're using the past simple. So we say, where did you go? What was it like? How did you get there? What did you do? What did you enjoy? So these are all past simple questions. Okay. Now we will say, which has been. We know that is the present perfect. All right. So let me see if I can find. Yeah. So I will read. I'll read out a passage from my New York holiday um, blog, because I wrote down some notes. So I noticed the majority of cars seem to be quite big. Not a lot of smart cars, mainly SUVs and saloon cars. I met Kate's my friend, at Penn Station, and we went to TikTok Diner. She had a waffle. We received maps of the city and walked to Times Square, where we were interviewed by Billboard Top 100 about Ariana Grande. Like, what is New York? We are on YouTube. Then we walked around Times Square and bought a hat for the basketball game. We did the Radio City tour after going through Rockefeller Center, and then we went back to Times Square to get tickets for a show. We chose Waitress. We then walked around to Grand Central Station. It is super cool and nice inside, and cold compared to the humid outdoors. We came back to Times Square and we saw a child, running down the street and met our other friend Sean. We got a slice of pizza and we went to the show. So we were so close to the stage. Um, we went for a pint, of course. Irish people, we have to go for a pint. uh, with my friends after the show, and I received a free pint of beer and a pizza. So this is a past simple account of one of my days in New York. Really jam-packed day. Super, lots and lots and lots of things to do. So you guys can do the same thing. So let me know or write down for yourselves your answers for these. Okay, so now we're going to look at your holiday top 3. So which of these factors are the most important to you? This is to you when you're choosing a holiday. So I want you to make a top 3. I want you to select 3 of these things as the most important for when you're deciding what holiday to do. So we have a couple of different things. We have the beach and sea, hotel and accommodation, traveling companions, the food, experiencing new cultures, landscape and nature, nightlife, activities and sightseeing, safety, and the climate. So what are the most important factors for you when you are selecting a holiday and when you're choosing a holiday? So you can let me know. You can tell me what you think. For me, I think mine would probably be, what would it be? I think for me, the experiencing new cultures, activities and sightseeing, and maybe nightlife. I mean, I don't like to do a lot of clubbing or things like that, but it's still nice to do other things in the evening times. Yeah, I think the nightlife would probably be so. Yeah, activities, nightlife, and experiencing new cultures. That would be the ones for me. For you, what do you think? What would you choose at home? So let me know in the comment section, or you can just write down whatever you want to. Okay. So yeah, I think for me, yeah, because whenever I go on holiday, I really like learning about the place. I really like learning about like the place that I'm in, the new culture, particularly like in New York. Now, New York is obviously an international city, and there's so many different cultures there. But it's still really cool to find new things, and even like activities and sightseeing as well. Those were very important to me in New York. Um, the nightlife was fantastic. So many cool, nice things to do at many occasions. So very, very, very good overall in New York. So yeah, you can tell me what your favorite holiday is, or what your top 3 factors of holidays would be. Okay, now we're going to discuss your dream holiday. So a dream holiday, this would be your dream destination, your ideal, the best holiday you can think of. So your dream destination would be, and the reason why we say would is because it is a kind of conditional. It is not real yet. You have not decided, nothing has been done. You're just thinking about it. So, oh, I would, it would be, my dream destination would be, and then you put in your answer. Um, so before I went to New York, New York was my dream destination, but I think now because I visited it, my new dream destination is maybe Los Angeles. Los Angeles, or maybe what else? I don't know. Maybe somewhere in Europe as well. Paris, perhaps, because I haven't been to Central Europe. I visited Italy and Spain, and that's it. I would really like to visit more countries uh, in Europe. So you got to think about the location, the accommodation, food and drink, the climate, activities, and companions. So you can just think about, imagine your best possible holiday and describe it. What would that holiday be like? What would that holiday be like? Okay, so for me, my dream holiday, just inventing just a random place, not anywhere in the world in particular. Dream holiday would have to be actually somewhere like this picture would be really nice. Somewhere on the coast, near a beach somewhere. The accommodation's not so important. I mean, just somewhere where there's a bed and there's a roof and maybe some air conditioning. Or air conditioning not that bad. If it's by the sea, then it's okay. Um, Food and drink, obviously very important. Being an Irish person, one of the most important things. um, the climate, again, yeah, like this could be very sunny, tropical climate. Now I like winter climates as well. I do like cold weather as well, so I don't mind. It can be either. In terms of activities, lots of activities. So surfing, swimming, snorkeling, um, or even if it's in the winter time, maybe some skiing or hiking. And then companions, so I'd like to go either with my family or friends. Either or would be nice. I've been on a lot of holidays with my family, so I feel like I'd like to experience more holidays with my friends, um, just to see what would it be like. This is very interesting. So your dream holiday, what would that be? Now, guys, we're going to do the last activity that we're going to do for the last few minutes is talking about planning a holiday. So when we're planning something, obviously we're thinking about the future. So the future tenses that we use for plans, as we can see here, is present continuous and going to. Okay, so for plans, future plans, I should say. Future plans, we use present continuous. Type this in here. And or going to. Now you might be wondering why the future simple will is not included here, and this is because will is not used for future plans. Okay, will. So if you remember, what do we use will for? It's used for spontaneous decisions. It's used for a prediction, that is your opinion, or it's used for a promise. So those things are not really plans. Whereas present continuous, I am meeting my friend at 5 o'clock. The time is specific. Okay, you have a particular date or a time, and it's fixed. It's like an appointment. And again, going to is like an intention. It's an idea, an intention to do something. So will we do not use for plans in English. Okay, this is something very, very important to remember. Do not use will for plans in English. All right, use present continuous or going to. All right. So the difference, yeah. So as I said, the difference between present continuous and going to is that present continuous is fixed plans, use going to for intentions. So I know that we are in quarantine at the moment and no one is going anywhere. It's impossible to plan your next holiday. But still, we can think about it. We can think about maybe next year or even later this year around Christmas time or something like that. We could decide what to do. So, for future plans, okay, I'm going to visit Paris. I'm going to stay in a friend's house, hopefully, and I'm going to visit the monuments and landmarks around Paris. These are my intentions. So in this case, we're using more going to because it's more because it's not fixed, because I have not bought a ticket, I haven't decided anything yet, but I've got like a plan. I have a plan for it. And so that would be my plan. I would say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, such and so on. All right. So the example here, we're saying we're going to Cairo for our next holiday. We're flying in March, and I'm going to explore the pyramids. So here they're using a combination of different things. They're saying we're going to Cairo. So this is a fixed plan. We're going to Cairo. Going. So that's a present continuous for our next holiday. We're flying in March. Flying, right? Using present continuous again, and I'm going to explore the pyramids. Going to explore the pyramids. So this is the intention that this person has. So yeah, it's a way for us to describe future plans using both together. So yeah, just be careful, guys, because I know the common kind of mistake that people make is they use will all the time for future, and this is not correct. It's important to get that difference down, because will, like when you're speaking to an English speaker and you say will for a plan, it sounds strange to the native speaker if you say will. And so that's why I would recommend just to not say it at all. Instead, just talk about your future plans using going to or present continuous. Okay, so guys, we have come to the end of our webinar for today. I know nobody got involved immediately in this, but I hope that this will be useful for anybody who's watching this afterwards. And I hope that you keep an eye on, look at the social media for your schools, to keep an eye on different activities, different things that are happening, and just kind of keep watching these webinars. It'll help a lot with improving your listening and understanding as well. All right. So if no one has any questions, I don't think there is anybody there to ask questions. Guys, this is me signing off. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.